I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built differently. I'm built.
Okay, so holy freak! So for people who have seen only my last chapter review, but not I haven't made another video on it, but Murata essentially changed Murata in one, of course, changed the whole last chapter into just being Garou and Saitama fighting, and Garou kept advancing, becoming stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until, well, not really. He just kind of lost. Then he became like the strongest he has ever been, and basically he's become this Alien X looking guy. He's kind of like a Galaxy skin from Fortnite type of guy. It's very insane. Everything it was insane. You should read the reader of the chapter as well. But coming into it, we have now Garou, who did all that and became like this alienist looking guy. And he's about to fight Saitama, and he has this panel where he basically, because he looks like he has the universe or a galaxy as his body, you know, his texture or whatever you call it, and it looks like he holds like the universe or a galaxy into his hands. It's very cool. And then he starts with punching Saitama, and Saitama's like, whoa, and he freaking plunges him, and that creates a nuclear explosion. It basically devastates the area so hard it even goes to like people from like other side of the planet or whatever. It's crazy. And then you see the explosion going from like, there's one explosion, but then that creates like little explosions as well, and they're fucking high into the sky, and they're so high actually that you can see them hitting the atmosphere. like they're so high that there's no atmosphere anymore for them to go higher, so they kind of have to stop. That's how high this those attacks are. And we even get Psychos, if you could believe it. She's still very, very hot. Don't you worry about it. I think she's naked too, actually, or partially naked. And yeah, she's still hot, and she's looking at it, and she's like, oh wow. And obviously, because she knows this type of power, because she was, you know, she was working with God, or she was empowered by God, or whatever. But God to give her power, and now she looks at this and is like, this is like Garou getting power from God, and yeah. So she looks at it and is like, whoa. And then we see this one thing that's very, very like rare. Okay, I don't even know how this is not even going to be able to be done in like in the physical panels, because we get a GIF. Like we not only get I don't know, image, right? We get a literal GIF in the virtual version of the manga chapter. We get a GIF of people looking in the sky, looking at clouds, and you can see like lightning striking and see the shadows of Saitama and Garou fighting. And they basically look like gods fighting in the sky. It's actually insane. There's probably some religions in One Punch Man now based on this alone, actually, if you ask me. And then we get the POV of the guys on the ground like Genos, Bang, Bomb, all those guys, and they see the same thing. They see there's some silhouettes in the clouds because of the lining that, you know, creates the light, and everyone is like, whoa, what is happening? But Genos knows it's Saitama, of course. And it's kind of crazy because Saitama's clothes really get destroyed almost. Like they're really heavily damaged in this in this battle. They're getting destroyed, which is impressive from Garou, because like we rarely see, like very, 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 very rarely we see someone actually being able to damage Saitama's clothes, even though they're supposedly not super human clothes. They're not supposed to be super durable, or at least not to the point that they're comparable to Saitama. But in all Saitama fights that have been up until now, very rarely has he had his clothes damaged. But in this fight, Garou manages to do it, you know. And when Saitama looks at Garou, he even sees himself. And this is interesting because what Garou does is basically throughout this chapter he looks at fighting styles that he has like seen before and imitates them. But in this case, I think what he does is that he basically imitates Saitama. He does the same attack that Saitama did against him like last chapter, but now instead of being against him, it's being against Garou. It's against Saitama. You know, the consecutive punches, right? He basically has Uno reversed carded Saitama, and then they both do it at the same time, and their punches meet and creates this big giant explosion. And even Garou even punches Saitama. Like he punches Saitama that Saitama's cheek actually like it looks like a normal punch, like someone would punch a character and they actually felt it. Like his cheek actually gets moved, and like Saitama gets hit to the ground, or I guess to the water, because they're fighting basically in an ocean, not necessarily on the ground. And we get even this funny scene where Saitama comes out of water and he's holding his breath, which I thought was pretty funny. And it's an interesting parallel between them because they both basically throughout the fight kind of do the same things, which it kind of implies that they're like on equal footing somewhat. I mean, ultimately, I don't doubt that Saitama's gonna win and easily because he's just One Punch Man. It's just how One Punch Man works, unfortunately. But if they do manage to surprise us and we have someone like Garou being able to fight Saitama, that would be actually one of the biggest plot twists in the history of like manga and anime and everything. And that would be great in my opinion. But then Garou even does a move that's very similar to what what's his name Blast did. It looks a black hole looking thing, but his seems to be more like a solar flare kind of thing. It seems to be like I don't know. It uncovers the planet, I think, and it's like so fucking large and big. It's like it's gigantic, bro. It's bigger than the planet or something. It's like it's gigantic. It's like strong as fuck. It's like this probably the strongest attack we've ever seen. And not necessarily that it's like it might be just like because the explanation, like if they explain it showing kind of like a planet doing it or something that's similar with a planet, so maybe it's not necessarily a planet size one, but it's like it's like one. It's like it's the same, I guess, process behind it. So basically, he sends this giant ass explosion, and I don't know. Then we don't see Saitama anymore. He gets well, definitely he doesn't get killed, obviously, because he's Saitama, but he does get pushed or something, and then he arrives in front of all the S-class heroes and every character that like we've seen throughout the Monster Association arc, Garou, I mean, and stands there and he's like, "Fuck you, you're ugly, and I'm gonna beat you all." And at the end we get a moment where we are shown some panels of, first we see when Bang asked Garou to help him, and by that I mean Bang asked for Bang to help Garou, and Garou refused. But then later on, when Garou was about to lose against Saitama, he accepted the help, but it wasn't from Bang. It was from Garou pretending to be Bang. But this time he accepted it, And now he's like, wait, what? This is the real Bang? And he sees the real Bang. And then we see, seeing Bang is kind of funny. And then we see, God, basically. We see God kind of being like, kind of revealing that, like, oh, it's God who's here. It's not even Garou's power. This is God's doing. Everything is God. And then the chapter kind of ends with Garou kind of going towards people to we'll see next chapter what he does. So yeah, this chapter was interesting. We saw Saitama fighting Garou, especially Galaxy Garou, and he might have even like been not, I don't want to say a match, but he might have been some trouble. Like this is definitely the most someone actually did to Saitama ever, even more than Orochi or Boros, I would say. But like, yeah, this is kind of insane actually. And if they reveal, listen, in my opinion, even if they say that Garou is like 100 times weaker than Saitama, it's still, at least we can finally put to rest this idea that Saitama is limitless. I mean, even if you say that Saitama wasn't defeated or Garou didn't beat him, the fact that Garou was able to do that to him, like to punch him so hard that his eyes roll back into his head and like his cheek, it's like it's moved. Then imagine what someone who's like 1,000 times stronger could do. All I'm saying is that maybe we should rethink about the whole Saitama as the strongest character in fiction thing, because it's probably not true. But outside of that, yeah, this chapter was crazy. We got the GIF. What the hell? We got the GIF, bro? We're not making GIFs now? That's crazy. That whole part with the GIF was crazy. That was insane. That whole I didn't even expect that, to see a GIF in a freaking manga. That's actually incredibly crazy.